All right, so this is another review of, or more instruction on evaluating algebraic expressions. What we did yesterday and the practice problems they gave you are really simple practice problems and don't have very many steps in them. But when you get to the lesson and find them, you're going to find some that have a lot of steps in them, and that gets really confusing really fast. So the biggest encouragement that I can give you is to nice and neatly and in orderly fashion show every step of your work as you go. And that will help with two things. One, it will help you keep it neat and organized because you need to be able to go from one step to the next. And if you try to skip ahead or take shortcuts or do things in your head, oftentimes you will lose track of what step you're on. So that's one thing. The other thing is, if you do get the answer wrong at the end, then it's all laid out nice and neatly and really easy for you to go back to your work and see what went wrong. Find the step that had a problem in it, okay? So I'm going to show you today how to lay those steps out really clearly so that when you work independently on it, you can go slowly through it. I'm only going to give you a couple problems at a time to do because it's more important that you move really slowly through it and do them accurately and start to get the hang of solving these algebraic expressions than to do a whole bunch of problems and move quickly through them. There's going to be a lot of work for each problem, and that's a wonderful thing. It shows how much work you're doing, how much your brain is thinking, and how much math you've learned. So don't be afraid to show as much work as you need to, okay? So these were pretty much the problems that we stuck to yesterday. These really simple one step, oh, I could do that in my head type problems. So this says x plus 6x plus 7, right? And x equals 5. So if we're saying 6x plus 7, and we know x equals 5, well, we know 6 times 5 is 30, and 30 plus 7 is 37. That's super simple. We could do that in our head. We could also show all the steps. 6 times 5 plus 7. 6 times 5 is 30. 30 plus 7, right, equals 37. So that's nice and neat. That's a lot of steps to show what we're doing to do this simple problem that we can do in our heads. Now we get over to number 2 over here, and they're a little bit more complicated. There's a lot more steps to it. So in this one, r equals 9. So we're going to when r equals 9. I don't know if you can even see that. Yep, okay. We're going to list out every single step. I'm going to do this one for you, and then I'm going to have you get out your math journals and do a couple with me today, showing me every single step of the way, because it takes a few steps, and I want you to see how many steps it takes. So number 2, 5, our first step is to replace the r, the variable, with the number that we're substituting it in for. So, and we're going to rewrite everything else. 5 times 10 times 9 plus 3, parentheses, minus 7 times 9. Okay, so we've rewritten it out. Now we need to go do our order of operations. And our order of operations, PEMDAS, tells us to do parentheses first. So we're going to go to this set of parentheses. Well, in this set of parentheses, we have multiple functions to do. And so we go to our set of parentheses and we start again to go through our order of operations. Are there any parentheses inside the parentheses? Not here, though you can have that. Are there any exponents inside the parentheses? Not here. So we move on to multiplication or division, and we do have multiplication. So our next step is going to show 5 parentheses 10 times 9 is 90 plus 3 parentheses minus 7 times 9. So there, we've done our first step, right? We've already shown a lot of work and we've done our first step. But we still have parentheses left, so we need to get rid of these parentheses. Right? So we know we go back to our parentheses, and now we have 90 plus 3, which is 93. So 5 times 93 minus 7 times 9. Okay? Now we're all across our board, we're on the same step, so we can do them at the same time. So we have no more parentheses, no exponents. Now we're just on to multiplication or division. And we have 2 multiplication or division problems. So we're going to do 5 times 93, which is 465, minus 7 times 9, which is 63. And now we have just one function left to do. And so we can subtract that. And we get 402 as our answer. So do you see all the steps that we went through to clearly show every step of the way of solving these? Okay. Now I want you to open up your math journals, turn them to wherever you did the practice, the guided practice for 7.2, and we're just going to continue just after this. This is more guided practice for 7.2, and I'm going to give you a problem to do in there. All right, I want you to do this problem, so I'm going to call it 3. You're doing problem number 3 in your math journals. 4 parentheses 5r minus 3 parentheses minus 2 parentheses 6r minus 7 parentheses. Whoa. Okay, I'll read it again to you in case it's hard to see. We have 4 parentheses 5r minus 3 parentheses minus 2 parentheses 6r minus 7. And r equals 9. Okay, so now I want you to pause the video and solve for this on your own. Show me in your work each step that it takes you to solve this problem. Go nice and slow, do parentheses first, and then move through the rest of the PEMDAS, the order of operations. And then when you finish that, start the video back up and I'll solve it on the board for you. So pause the video now, solve it on your own, no cheating, and then start the video back up. All right, so here we go. I'm going to substitute in my 9 for all my r's first. So 4 parentheses 5 times 9 minus 3 parentheses minus 2 parentheses 6 times 9 minus 7 parentheses. Okay, so I've substituted 9 in for all my r's. One of the biggest mistakes that people make, or the most often mistakes, is that they miscopy. So make sure you're really careful when you're copying, that you're writing subtraction when you're supposed to subtract and you copy the right numbers, because that's where some of the most errors come from. Okay, now I know I need to do my parentheses first, and inside each of my parentheses, I know I need to do my multiplication first. So my next step, 4 parentheses 5 times 9 is 45, minus 3 parentheses minus 2 parentheses 6 times 9 is 54 minus 7 parentheses. Okay, so now I check back at my top of my order of operations again. I still have parentheses I'm not done. So 4, and we can put parentheses around it. 45 minus 3 is 42. Minus 2 parentheses 54 minus 7 is 47 parentheses. Okay, remember, if we have numbers next to parentheses and there's no symbol in between them, we do multiplication. So now we need to do 4 times 42, which equals 168, minus 2 times 47, which equals 54. No, it does not. Sorry. 2 times 47 equals 94. Yeah, 94. And then we do 168 minus 94, and that equals 74. Is that correct? Yes. All right, so then we get to our answer, 74. So I hope that is what you got as well. If not, go back and check, find where your mistake was, okay? We're gonna do one more of these nice long ones today, just to get you in the habit. This one's gonna be a little bit bigger even, and gonna take even more steps, so take up plenty of space. Don't worry about running out of space. All right, so this is number 4 that we're reviewing today. Number 4, and we're going to do 6p plus 4 over 7 plus 5p minus 6 over 2 minus 3p over 4. Okay, lots of problems. I'll read them again to you. 6p plus 4, all of that over 7, plus 5p minus 6, all of that over 2, minus 3p over 4. 5p minus 6. Just checking I copied it, right? Okay. And then p equals 4. Okay? So again, go back through, follow your order of operations. The clue I'll give you is, remember, if it's on top of the division bar, you have to imagine that it's in parentheses. You have to do these things first. Okay? So pause the video again, solve it yourself, and then come back and solve it with me. Double check your answer. Okay. So I'm going to start again by substituting 4 in for p. So 6 times 4 plus 4 over 7 plus 5 times 4 minus 6 over 2 minus 3 times 4 over 4. Okay, and then our order of operations tells us we need to do our parentheses first. So let's do parentheses. 6 times 4 is 24. So 24 plus 4 over 7 plus 5 times 4 is 20. So 20 minus 6 over 2 minus 3 times 4 is 12. So 12 over 4. All right, and then I'm going to keep going. I still have some in parentheses. So we're going to have 24 plus 4 is 28 over 7 plus 20 minus 6 is 14. 14 over 2, and then minus 12 over 4. I can still simplify this further. So 28 divided by 7 is 4, plus 14 divided by 2 is 7, minus 12 divided by 4 is 3. 4 plus 7 equals 11, minus 3 equals 8. So all of that simplifies, we can say, or is to evaluate it, we would get 8 as our solution.